So as we get started today, this video is divided into chapters. If you want to skip at any point, just look at the sliding bar underneath the plating window and you can see the chapters to skip ahead. Welcome back to the Crochet Crowd. As my friends over at yarnspirations.com. I'm your host Mikey. Today we are actually going to do the Circle Lapghan crochet blanket. Now I have had my eyes on this for a long time because I really like the texture and I love the colors, and what we're going to do is go through this. Now when you're doing round blankets or anything working from the square, like going from the middle outward, a gauge is really kind of necessary because if you're off in any way it can ruffle. So what we need to pay attention to in this one here is rounds 1 to 3 will equal 4 inches by the time you get there. So you're gonna want to check that. If it's really off from 4 inches, you will experience that this will probably ruffle out on you. So if it's too small, therefore you might have some buckling, so it'll want to fold up like a bowl, and if it's too loose then it will probably just want to ruffle out. So you have to decide what's gonna work for you. In this pattern here we have a stripe sequence, so these here work round 1 with A, 2 rounds with B, 3 rounds with C, and so you're going to work through the sequence. So work these 47 rounds for the stripe sequence. So that's something that you can decide for yourself. I'm gonna be using Red Heart Super Saver Ombre just as this tutorial sample today, and so it does transition between the shading of colors. So if you want to avoid that kind of thing, you probably get away with it too. Now this pattern, the reason why I wanted to film it is that A, the texture caught me, but the repeat is actually here, and the repeat is actually after round number 13. So round number 13 is the end of the repeat, and it says keep the stripe sequence and repeat rounds 4 through 13 3 more times. So you're just gonna kind of repeat those rounds. So you'll notice that it will naturally want to grow out on itself. Once you have that done 3 times, then you're going to repeat rounds 12 and 13 once, and then repeat rounds number 4 and 5, and then you're done. So that's kind of the neat idea. So I would assume that there's 47 rounds because it stated that with the stripe sequence, so keep an eye on the colors. So what I'm gonna do is that I'm gonna take you through this. There is time markers in the video description of what is called as video chapters, and each one of these rounds are indicated by a time marker so that you can speed ahead. So when you have to refer back, you will be able to find the rows or the rounds in this case and be able to click that and go backward in time in order to complete that. So without further ado, we are going to be using a 5.5 millimeter size eye crochet hook, and we make sure that you do check your gauge when you get there, and let's begin. So let's start with the beginning. So I just started using this Red Heart Super Saver Ombre. I'm kind of in love with it. I don't want to marry it, but I'm pretty close. So I'm gonna start off with the slip knot, and this is classified as an easy level pattern because the repeating is actually pretty easy. So they say. We'll find out, won't we? So we're going to chain 4. So 1, 2, 3 and 4, and slip stitch to the beginning chain and form that center ring. So when you go around the first one, just put this so that it's around the ring itself, and therefore it gets stuck underneath, so you don't have to sew that in later. Let's officially begin round number 1. Let's begin the first round, round number 1. We're going to chain 4, which will count as a double crochet and a chain 1 space. So 1, 2, 3 and 4, and just simply come into the center of the ring and double crochet in. So you're looking for a total count of 12 posts. So this is classified as 1 with the chain 1 space. This is the second one, chain 1 to create another space, and then back in. So you're gonna want to go all the way around doing a double crochet and then a chain 1 after. So the secret is that you're looking to have 12 of those posts completed by the time you get all the way around. So please do that. That's round number 1. I'll see you at the end of this round in a moment. So I'm putting in my last double crochet here. So you should be able to count 12. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Make sure you do a chain 1 space after the final one and then attach it to the third chain up. So if you're following the color sequence, then just take care of that and move on to your next one. So the next color starts in in round number 2. So just keep an eye on that, and we're gonna just continue with the same color here on camera, and I'll show you how to adjust for that just in case that you are wanting to do it the way that I'm doing it here. If you went over the tail end like you're supposed to, then just cut that out, and therefore that'll be out of your mind. And moving on to round number 2. So if you're starting a new color, you're gonna want to start in any of the chain 1 spaces, but currently I'm not changing color. I'm just gonna continue. So the first thing I need to do, if you're gonna do it my way, is that you're just going to just slip stitch to get yourself to the chain 1 space. In each space you're gonna do the same things, but we have to start the first space first, and that'll be a chain 3, which will be your first double crochet, and then 2 more double crochets inside the same space. So every space now going forward is going to have 3 double crochets in it. So just keep on moving around. So 3 double crochet in each, and I'll see you at the end of row number 2 in just a moment. At the end of round number 2 you should have 3 double crochets in each of the spaces, so you're just going to join it to the top of the first chain 3 to finish, and that was round number 2. So it's looking pretty good so far. So let's go on to round number 3. In round number 3 we're gonna start doing the spokes that you can see in the model sample. So we're gonna start off first right exactly where you are, and it doesn't matter which yarn you're using. So just chain 1 and single crochet into the first chain 3 that was below. You are now then going to create space for next time, and so then you're gonna chain 3. So 1, 2, 3, and you're going to skip the next stitch and go into the next one and single crochet, and then you're gonna do a front post treble 2 rows below, which will be around this one here. So wrap that hook twice and come all the way down, and just come in from the front and just pop it to the other side and just treble all the way back. So that's a front post treble. So I want you to visualize each one of these groups of 3 as the space in between spokes. So the first one out is going to be a single crochet, chain 3, and then jump to the third one of that same spot, and then jump on down. So front post treble down like that. Okay, so it's the first one. It's gonna be a single crochet, chain 3, come to the other side of that same spot, so it's the third one, and then a front post treble down. So please do this all the way around for round number 3. So I'm coming all the way around to the last section here. So I'm just jumping on over, and don't forget I still have to come on down and do that front post treble right at the very end, and then I'm just going to attach it to the first single crochet. So now we're gonna lay this down, and we're now going to do a gauge check. So I haven't checked the gauge off camera, but the gauge said that rounds number 1 through 3 should equal about 4 inches. So here we go. Look at that. That's honest to God true. So I know that I can continue to use this yarn and this hook, and it should be okay. So now we're gonna move on to round number 4 next. So round number 4, if you're doing the color sequence, then what you're going to want to do is that you're gonna want to fasten this off and then start in the next chain 3 space. If you're doing exactly what I'm doing, just slip on over. So if you're attaching new yarn, just attach and then just chain 3. So 1, 2, 3, and in this case here you're gonna put 3 more double crochets into that same spot. So each of the chain 3 spaces that you have, they're going to be a total of 4 double crochets in each of those. So carrying on to the next chain 3 space, just put in 4 double crochets and then continue to do that all the way around, and this is round number 4. When you get all the way back around, you'll have your 4 into the last chain 3 space, and so you're just going to join with the slip stitch to the top of the first chain 3 that you started with, and that was round number 4. Let's move on to round number 5. In round number 5, it's gonna be very much how we did round number 3. The difference is that the spacing will be a little bit bigger. So you're just going to chain 3 where you're sitting, and you're going to apply a single crochet. So look at each groups of these 4 as individuals on their own. So now you're just going to chain 4. So last time it was chain 3, so it's chain 4 and then jump to the last one of the grouping of 4. Okay, and now see this one here, the front post treble way down here, you're going to want to grab that up so that you can make it come up. So just wrap the hook twice, go around that front post treble from before, and then just complete that, and that will keep that spoke moving up. So come to this next grouping of 4. So the first one is going to be a single crochet, chain 4, come to the last one of that grouping of 4, single crochet, and then jump on down and collect that next front post treble from 2 rows below. Please do this all the way around. This is round number 5. So coming around to number 5, I'm just continuing the pattern as I know it, and don't forget the last stitch is gonna be this front post treble 2 rows below. Like that, and that will keep that up and just join it with the slip stitch to the beginning single crochet, and that was round number 5. Let's move on to round number 6. So this is where you will add a new color if you want new color into this chain 4 space. If you're continuing like I am, just slip stitch to that space to get you there. So continue then with chaining a 3 and then put 4 double crochets into this section here. So there's 4 double crochets. So with the chaining of 3 and the 4 that you have, that gives you a total of 5. Once you have that done, you are then going to just go to the next space that you have here, and you're gonna put in 5 double crochets, and I want you to do that all the way around, and I'll see you at the end of the round in just a moment. So coming up to the end of round number 6, I've got my 5 double crochets in each, and then I'm just going to slip stitch to the first chain 3, and then that will conclude that round. Let's move on to round number 7 next. Round number 7 is going to do exactly what we've done in the past, is just we're going to make it even bigger. So we're going to just chain up 1 and single crochet in the first top of the chain 3. You're then going to just chain a total of 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and go to the last one of that grouping of 5 and single crochet, and then jump on down to collect that front post treble from 2 rows below. So the next grouping of 5 is here, so you'll single crochet in the first one and then chain 5 to jump. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then jump to the last one, single crochet, and then come on down and do a front post treble around the existing front post treble from before. Please do that for round number 7. I'll see you at the end of the round. So coming up to the end of round number 7, the last one, don't forget you have to jump on down and then just join it to the beginning single crochet. That'll complete number 7. Let's move on to round number 8. So I'm liking the easiness of this pattern so far, but you know what, let's continue. If you're adding new color, you'll join it to the space, and if you're continuing like I am, just slip stitch on over. So this one here, round number 8, you're going to just chain 3, so 1, 2, 3, and put in 5 additional double crochets there. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And then in the next space here, just put in 6 double crochets. So there's this 5 here plus the chain 3 gives you 6. So just 6 double crochet in each of these spaces going around. I'll see you at the end of the round. This is round number 8. Coming around on number 8, you know the routine by now. You're going to slip stitch to the top of the chain 3. Let's move along now to round number 9. It's just turning up a little bit, but don't worry about that. I want to just show you that because that is just a fact of what's gonna happen, but then it should lay back flat again once you continue to work further. So I noticed that in between each one of these rounds here. So let's move on to round number 9. In round number 9, right where you're sitting, you're just going to chain 1 and then you'll put in a single crochet there, and now chain 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and jump to the last one of that same group. So you're skipping over 4 double crochets. So single crochet and then do a front post double crochet, sorry, front post treble all the way down to the last one. So in the next group, start off with a single crochet just like that and chain a total of 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then just continue to come on down to the next side here. So single crochet and then jump on down to the front post treble next. So just continue. You already know what to do. You're just making it slightly bigger. So let's continue that journey around. So at the end of round number 9, you are coming down to do that front post treble. Don't forget that, and then slip stitched to the beginning single crochet. Let's move along to round number 10. In round number 10, this chain space here is where you're going to add your new color if you want to, and if you're continuing like I am, just slip stitch to take you there first. So let's begin. You're going to chain 3, and then there will be 6 additional double crochets in that same spot. So let's count those together. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So with the chain 3 and those 6, that gives you the total count of 7. So each one of these spaces will have 7 double crochets in them. Please do that all the way around. This is round number 10. So coming all the way around on round number 10, you know the routine, just slip stitch to the top of the chain 3. So question is about to be answered, and if you didn't have the question, I'll tell you what the question was, but next round, number 11, is when the game changes. Let's begin to look at that further. So when we look at the model, we notice that the spokes really never get that far apart. So if we continue in the same manner of growing out, these spokes will get further and further away from each other, but I notice in the model it doesn't. So this tells me that a new spoke is added at a certain point. So round number 11 is when a new spoke gets added in, so that this divides off, and so then it allows you to do a repeat, because I was wondering how it can do a repeat so easily with just only 13 rounds being shown in the instructions. So round number 11 is going to have us so that we're gonna subdivide off so that we create a new spoke, and we're gonna be using front post double crochets in a strategic point of view so that we can divide this spoke directly in half, so we end up with a new spoke right in the middle. Let's begin number 11. Using the 7 that we have in each side, we're going to create the spokes, a new spoke. So we're gonna continue with these spokes here, and we're gonna be creating a new one right directly in the middle of this. So where we are sitting, we're going to chain 1, and we're going to single crochet in the first one, which is the top of the chain 3. Chain 1, skip 1, and single crochet in the next. And now the next stitch, which is the middle one of the grouping of 7, so it's the 4th one in, you're going to do a front post double crochet, and that's your new spoke. You're going to single crochet the very next one that's in line. So if you're looking at it from this point of view, you're skipping over the one that's directly behind it because that's included, and so it's the 3rd one before the end. So it's a single crochet, and then chain 1 and single crochet in the last. I'll go through this again. So once you get that last one done, it's coming on down, so it's gonna be a front post treble. So remember how we came in and we were doing these in the past. We were doing single crochet, front post treble down, and then single crochet on the other side. So the middle one is creating that strategy for that to happen. So you have the single crochet, you have the front post double down, and then the single crochet down on the other side. So when we come to grab this one in the next time, it's going to be more defined. So let's continue and show you again. So you're going to single crochet the first one, and then chain 1. Skip the next one and single crochet the next. You're going to do a front post double crochet around the existing one just directly below, and then single crochet the one right after, chain 1, skip 1, and single crochet in the next, and then jump on down and collect this one way down here. And then you'll do each side like that. So please do all your sides like that, and you will see a new spoke just lightly emerging, but it will be very noticeable next time we have to jump down to collect that in the future. I'll see you at the end of round number 11. At the end of round number 11, don't forget you're still going to do that front post treble down, crochet down, and then you're just going to slip stitch it to the beginning single crochet. So now we have a new spoke that has been in position and ready for next time, and let's move on to round number 12. So round number 12, when we started way back here, we started with 3 double crochets that were in the same space. We're doing that here again. So this is going to allow us to create that momentum to have the pattern continue. So if you're joining new color, you'll join it in the space, but the first chain 1 space is where you're gonna slip stitch to if you're doing it like I am, and then chain a total of 3, and then 2 more double crochet into that same space like that. Now you'll come to the next chain 1 space, so it's just on the other side of here, and then you're going to put in 3 double crochets there too. So each chain 1 space all the way around is going to get 3 double crochets, and this will allow it to open up and to create a good time. So let's continue to do that, and 3 double crochets in each, and I'll see you at the end of the round in just a moment. So finishing up round number 12, you're just going to go into the last space before you come into the end, so that's just normal, and then you're just going to slip stitch it to the beginning chain 3. So now we're gonna continue to round number 13, which is going to be the end of the repeat. I believe at the end of this you're going to want to damp block this, and we'll talk about that later. So let's begin round number 13. So round number 13 refers to jumping on down. So one jump is to a front post treble, the other jump is to a front post double crochet. So it says continued round with the front post treble around a front post stitch. That is, stitch is just a general term, so that it's just referring to that instead of complicating it with the pattern. So you're just going to just chain up one and just look at each individual threes like we did before in the very beginning of this, and you're going to single crochet and then chain three. So 1, 2, 3, and then jump to the other side of that grouping of three. So just skipping one stitch, single crochet, and do a front post front post treble crochet to the front post stitch below. In this case it was the front post double. So now you can really see it. It's going to pick up and be defined. So coming to the next group, start with the first one, single crochet, chain three, do the last one, single crochet, and then jump on down. In this case it's to the front post treble. I'll show one more time. So next grouping of three, single crochet, chain three, come to the last one of that same group, and then jump on down, which is to the front post double from before. So you can see that when you come around on this round you're going to have double the amount of spokes by the time you get all the way around. Well, it's gonna be very obvious because you've already created it before. So let's do that, and this is going to be the end of round number 13 in just a moment. So when you get around to number 13 you've come down on the front post treble, and then you're just going to join it, and then that's the end of the repeat. So let's chitter chatter and let's talk about what's next, because now it's a matter of repeating the steps that I've already shown you. At the end of this project you're going to want to wet block this, so we'll just get it damp and then lay it flat to dry, and that is called damp blocking. So in the instructions we are then going to repeat back, and you're going to keep the stripe sequence going, and you're going to do rounds number 4 through 13 3 more times. So just reverse the video back to go to round number 4 and play it back through 13 if you need to, and you'll do that 3 times. Once you have that done 3 times, then you're going to repeat rounds number 12 and 13 just once. Then you're going to repeat rounds number 4 and 5, and then that's it. You're done. So when you're happy with your project and you have it done, then what you can do is that you can just continue to just fasten off. Just pull it through. And you're going to want to use a tapestry needle to get rid of this tail. So any tails that you did have it because you've had to change yarn balls and colors and stuff. So any of this, so just turn it to the back side of your blanket or your afghan or throw, whatever you're gonna call it, and just ram it through some of the stitch work. Avoid coming out the front and come through once, and when you pull it through, pull it taut but don't change the shape. Go back through a slightly different path a second time, and then back through one more time. So make sure you go back and forth 3 times, and you'll want to do that with any of your tails that you have. So it's a kind of a neat pattern. I like the simplicity of this idea in the sense that it's easy to remember, and again just block it and then you'll have that roll, and that's it. So this is using Red Heart Super Saver Ombre, and you can see that we've gone from a darker gray and lightened up along the way. Let's continue along, and I'll see you again next time here in the Crochet Crowd, as well as my friends over at yarnspirations.com. This is the Circle Lapghan. Bye bye.